Good day, and welcome to another edition of the Military and Foreign Affairs Network. I'm your host, the voice of reason. I wanted to do a update on the ongoing fighting that is taking place inside of the former state of Ethiopia. We are getting reports of a possible infiltration attempt by forces of the Afar regional militia units and possibly regional police units and or even Ethiopian regular army units that could be deploying in an area east of Mekelle. So again, initial reports would indicate that there are units or could be units of the Afar regional militia operating in the vicinity of Abala, as you can see on my map. And there could be also forces of Ethiopian federal police units that could also be deployed with these Afar militia groups. And these units could also be Ethiopian army units. So right now, initial intelligence assessments indicate that the uniforms or the description of the forces that could be operating within the vicinity of Abala are forces of regional police, regional special forces units, and those are the type of forces that are operating in this area. And there could be forces uh, of these regional defense militias that are moving in a westerly direction, possibly towards the city of Mekelle, obviously the capital of the Tigray region. Now, again, these reports are intermittent and hard to verify. Now, with that being said, any major military operation in terms of deploying a significant amount of forces in the Afar region that were then going to make a movement towards the city of Mekelle or an attempt to cut off the A2 highway would be at a significant disadvantage in terms of being able to supply themselves. That was the issues that even the Tigrayan Defense Forces were running up against in their operations inside of the Afar region. So again, if we zoom in and we look at Abala, we look at the areas around Abala, we look at the Afar region, generally speaking, again, fairly inhospitable, and the ability to supply large forces, a large contingent of forces, the type of forces that would be needed to mount a significant campaign with the intent of possibly either severing the A2 highway, creating an environment where the Tigrayan Defense Forces would be blocked in terms of sending supplies south for its campaigns in the northern Amhara region, or a move on Mekelle would again be a significant challenge because of the supply situation that these forces would be under. There simply is not the resources in this area to keep a very large force supplied where it can continue large-scale offensive operations, especially if you're looking to attack one of the main power bases of the Tigray region. So as you approach Mekelle from a easterly direction, you're first going to obviously run into a variety of towns on your way there. The routes towards these locations are simply one or two roads with terrain features on either side of these roads, which would make these forces very susceptible to ambush by forces who understand the terrain, like the Tigrayan Defense Forces do. So again, an operation like this, depending on the size of the force, would be very difficult. And I don't anticipate that it is a very large force. In all probability, it's some sort of regional militia unit that is acting fairly boldly and is looking to possibly make a move for raiding purposes into the eastern Tigray region. And again, I do not believe this would be defined as an all-out invasion that would threaten the city of Mekelle. From that standpoint. Now, with that being said, there was another issue I wanted to look at that is not being talked about as much, especially within the content providers that are covering the ongoing conflict inside of the former state of Ethiopia, and that is the economic situation that is going on. And this is the situation in which we are seeing a tremendous amount of inflationary pressure being exerted on the Ethiopian central government. It is burning through cash reserve. It has very little gold reserves. Granted, there may be some gold mining opportunities inside of Ethiopia, but the technology and the mining industry has not tapped into those gold reserves as of yet, thus creating reserves for Ethiopia proper. Now, with that being said, we continue to see and hear about inflationary pressures, the cost of living that is increasing inside of Addis Ababa, or the cost of living, the amount of what it takes to purchase groceries, the local currency when compared to the United States dollar. Again, that is an issue of concern. But again, these pressures are omnipresent inside of the state of Ethiopia and are continuing, especially as the Ethiopian state looks to gear up and go into a total war footing, which is incredibly costly. So we will continue to see this devastating impact that will surely happen upon the state of Ethiopia, as will it occur with the Amhara region as well. To fight wars, it is incredibly costly, and if you're out purchasing weapon systems, and more importantly, you're recruiting large portions of your society into the army, you have to pay them some way. You may not have to pay them a lot of money, but you have to conduct upkeep, you have to treat them with medical services, you have to feed them, you have to provide them with rudimentary entertainment. All this stuff costs a lot of money, and it's something, unfortunately, the Ethiopian state does not have, and we're starting to see the impact of that inside of the former state of Ethiopia. We will continue to monitor the situation, especially on the reports of activity to the east of Mekelle, and report as soon as we have further information. Have a great day, everybody.